When you go for a consent of your employees also participate in the planning. When and why, that is what the planning will actually give a proper answer to everybody. That's why it is called predetermined course of action. Now after when you plan what your employees should do, you should also plan that if they don't do it, what is that you are supposed to do. I'll find better ideas, better method and procedures to perform a particular job. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Now in this session, we're going to learn something more about planning and what exactly happens in planning and decision making. So the topic is importance of planning. Now I've given you the following importance of planning. Please have a glance over the topic, and here planning provides direction. Planning is one which always show what is that to be done. So planning is always goal oriented, as we have learned in the previous session. That is, planning is pervasive, planning is goal oriented, planning is dynamic. So all these things we have learned. So it is always what it provides direction, what exactly you are supposed to do. It's a totally a visionary and a missionary. Planning reduces the risk of uncertainty. Please understand this word uncertainty. Usually what happens is uncertain is certain in this 21st century, and we need to always prepare for the worst of the worst. Example is pandemic, coronavirus, right? Pandemic, what really happened is none of us, we thought there will be a pandemic and we will be afraid of a virus the way we are being afraid. Now here you need to understand even planning of those people who have started their business. Because of this pandemic, the uncertainty level which was little, it became very much huge. Now we know that even these type of pandemics can also come and affect our business. Now what happens is we'll be prepared enough, and it reduces the risk of uncertainty. So planning reduces overlapping and wasteful activity. I'll give you an example here. Supposingly you want to celebrate your friend's birthday and you have planned for it. Now when you have planned and when you have not planned, there is always a difference. What happens, I'll tell you. When you don't plan, usually what happens is your friends will overlap the work and they'll get the same thing what the other friend have already brought it. Now there is a problem. Now money is wasted, but this is fine because it's just a small party. Now imagine a MNC company or a big corporate doing the same mistake. Now finance is the lifeblood of the company. When you are not so much confident about how to allocate the planning, what happens is overlapping will definitely happen. But when you plan properly and the plan will be proper, what really happens is you will get an idea saying that these are the things which I am supposed to do and these are the things which I'm not supposed to do. When you are clear with what you really want to do, then what happens is wastages are reduced and overlapping of work will never happen. Next is planning promotes innovative ideas. The reason here innovative ideas is when you go for a consent of your employees also participate in the planning. But here you need to understand the top level are the only people who will go with the planning, but there are few people who always motivate their employees and they get the best from the employees. So the employees start going with the innovative and creative ideas to share that with the top level management. That's why we say planning promotes innovative ideas. Planning facilitates decision making. So when you start deciding what is that you should really want to do, then what happens is you should always have alternative course of action. Now you should have what? Alternatives. When you have alternatives, what happens is it is easy now to evaluate. After evaluating, or when you evaluate, what happens is now you need to go with selection. When you go with selection, now you need to implement it. Now, when you implement it, we call that as you have made your decision. That is, decision making is also done. So, planning facilitates decision making. Next is planning establishes standard for controlling. Now, after when you plan what your employees should do, you should also plan that if they don't do it, what is that you are supposed to do. That means what? It will also go with, it establishes standards of controlling. Now, what is controlling? Controlling is a process of comparing actual performance with standard performance. When you start planning, you already have given the standard set. Now the people, the employees need to actually outbeat the standards, and then they are supposed to make their things, because planning will always go with two things. One is effectiveness and efficiency. So to beat that effectiveness and efficiency, they need to follow the plan. That's why it is what planning establishes standards of controlling. Focus attention on objectives. So because planning is always goal oriented, so it always focus on objective of the company. So these are the importance of planning. We'll go one by one what exactly it is. Now the minute planning provides direction. Now please understand here what happens is, planning is concerned with predetermined course of action. Now I have told you umpteen numbers saying that planning is always future course of action. Right? It is always future course of action. It provides the directions to the efforts of employees. Planning makes clear what employees have to do, how to do all these things. Now here you need to understand that planning goes with three things. Planning, it answers three things. That is what to be done, what, then when it should be done, and the next thing is it will give a proper answer to the question why. So this what, when and why, that is what the planning will actually give a proper answer to everybody. That's why it is called predetermined course of action. By stating in advance how work has to be done, that is when a work should be done, planning provides direction for action, that is what to be done and why it should be done. So these three things will be answered by planning, and that's why planning is always what? Provides direction, a proper clarity that what is to be done and who should do it, why they should do it. All this will be answered by planning. Next we have is planning is it reduces the risk of uncertainty. Please understand, when I say uncertainty, in the 21st century, uncertainty is certain. Uncertainty is certain. Now organizations have to face many uncertainties and unexpected situations every day. Now you need to know that there are two terms that is called as the micro environment, micro and macro. Now we have two environment. Now planning should actually see both the environment, that is say your A as well as B. Now micro environment can be controlled because it is within the company, but macro environment you cannot control it because you don't know what will happen, and it is very heterogeneous, complex it is, right? To be very frank, it's like a matrix. Now here you need to understand that when we go for macro environment, we are supposed to focus on the market as well as what are the things which may cause our business in a risk. So when you plan for all the unexpected, unwanted or undesirable actions, you will get to know that you should get prepared for those things in the combat, and that's why planning always reduces the risk of uncertainty. When you are already prepared for it, now whatever the uncertainty happens also, you can stop those uncertainty or you can reduce those uncertainty. Next is planning. It actually reduces the overlapping. It reduces what? Overlapping and wasteful activities. The organizational plans are made to keeping in mind that the requirement of all departments. That means they'll make sure that it is been fulfilled to all the department. When we talk about it, you need to always know the functional structure. You have a MD. Now say you have 3 departments, stating one is HRM, another is finance, and one more is say marketing. So there are 3 departments. The organizational plans are made keeping in mind the requirement of all the departments. When we talk about all the departments, that means HRM department, financial department, and marketing department. Whenever you plan, they'll plan for each and every department individually. The department plans are derived from main organizational plan. Now the organizational plan is what? To have more share price, that means to increase the share price. Increase the share price. When the objective is to increase the share price, we call it as a wealth maximization. The HRM, the finance and the marketing, everybody will be given a set of plan, so that if everybody accomplish those plans, the plan which we have set will also get accomplished. As a result, there will be coordination in different departments. That means the HRM will coordinate with finance, the finance will coordinate with marketing, marketing will coordinate with finance, or vice versa. Now here what happens is everybody will actually do proper things. So here overlapping of work will not happen, as well as wasteful things will also not happen, that is wasteful activities. Now the reason is you need to maximize your profit. You need to maximize your wealth. You need to maximize or increase your share prices. So what happens is you are giving a transparent figure to all the department. All the department will work for the welfare of the company. Why will they work? They'll work for the welfare of the company. So this is what will happen in the future days. Next one we have is planning. Planning promotes innovative ideas. Now, planning requires high thinking, and it is an intellectual process. I have told you in the characteristics that planning requires mental exercise. So there is a great scope of finding better ideas, better methods and procedures to perform a particular job. Now, let's go with this. Say example, I'll give you an example. 2020. Now 2025. Now I'm making a profit of 1 lakh rupees every month. 1 lakh rupees is what I'm making a profit every month. Now if I make 1 lakh rupees profit in the month of 2025, what happens is my business is not growing, is what it is. So how much should I make? I should at least make 4 lakh rupees as my profit. So I need to plan that 1 lakh rupees, 2020 I'm getting a profit of 1 lakh rupees per month, but when it reaches 2025 I need to actually make more than that. So what is that I should do? I need to plan for it. When I plan for it, what happens is I'll get more ideas, because it is all intellectual process. Now I should always stick on to one thing, that is called legal business. Now when I go with legal business, I need to know that there should be something called market research and market survey. And when I go with it, I'll find better ideas, better method and procedures to perform a particular job. Now what the job I should do is, so that I'll get a 4 lakh as a profit per month. So this is why it is called innovative ideas. It promotes innovative ideas. Planning process forces managers to think differently and assume the future conditions. So it makes the manager innovative and creative. Here what happens is you are giving a preference of your choice, saying that who will actually give a best idea, so that from 1 lakh rupees per month I need to earn 4 lakh rupees per month. Now what happens is the manager of the company will get innovative ideas and creative ideas only through going with a rational thinking, or he should always go with a proper way of how to fetch more money. So when he start thinking, what happens is there are so many ideas which follows. Again, those ideas should be scrutinized. You shouldn't follow all the ideas. Whatever comes to your brain, you are supposed to scrutinize, and then whichever is the best course of action, those plans you are supposed to do it first. So this is what is all about the innovative ideas. Next is we have is planning facilitates decision making. After getting innovative ideas, you shouldn't actually waste not doing it. You are supposed to use it and implement it. When you implement, what is that you will do is you will get to know whether those plans are really correct or not, because you have two things. One is practicality and one more is theoreticality. Now in theoretical thing, the plan whatever you said is all good, but when it is done in practically, now you'll understand whether there's feasibility or there is no feasibility. Planning helps the managers to take various decisions, as in planning goals are set in advance and predictions are made for future. These predictions and goals help the manager to take the fast decisions. Now I'll give you an example where we have gone with Coke and Pepsi. Now both these two beverages company, now what happened is they are doing gigantically very good. The reason is their money turnover is too much. Now understand how the planning will actually facilitate the decision making. Now one of the company, they started with some kind of a soft drink. The other company will also start doing the same thing to give a competition. Now here what exactly it is, you need to plan uniquely. Just go with this difference, you will also come across the same kind of a difference. Now one of the company, they started with Fanta. Now when they started with Fanta, some other companies will start with Mirinda. Now to be very frank with you, Mirinda came first and then Fanta actually came. Now the same way the substitutes. For Slice there is a substitute in a different country that is called Maaza. For Thumbs Up there is a different one. For Sprite there is a different one called Mountain Dew. Now what exactly it is? Try to understand. Planning will always give something called decision making. So planning will actually make a manager to take more decisions very quickly. The reason here I told you about the Pepsi and Coke. When Pepsi started something, Coke will also introduce something to the market. The reason is the decision making. Now it happens very fast. Next we have is planning establishes standard for controlling. Now what exactly controlling is? You need to know controlling is all about comparing actual performance with standard performance. Now the standard performance is actually given by whom? By the company. That means planning is already done. Now it establishes what? The standard for controlling. The standard performance is done by the company. Controlling means comparison between planned and actual output. And if there is variation between both, then find out the reason for such deviations. I'll give you an example here. Now the standard performance which the company have given us, you need to manufacture 10,000 units. You need to manufacture how much? 10,000 units. But actual performance, you have done only 8,000 units. That is, you have manufactured 8,000 units. Now what is the deviation? Let me tell you. Don't get confused with standard performance minus actual performance and then don't write 2000 is a deviation. The controlling definition or the meaning itself is what? Comparing actual performance. So you should first consider actual performance. So the actual performance is 8,000. When you say comparing, the function is negative, that is you need to subtract. And standard performance is how much? 10,000. So you need to write minus 10,000. Then you will get minus 2,000. This minus 2,000 is called deviation, and you are supposed to know that why there is a deviation. And then you are supposed to rectify the deviation. That is what the benefit of planning is. And taking measures to match the actual output with the plan. But in case there is no planned output, now you have not even planned how much you are supposed to manufacture. Now whatever they manufacture, it is good. So that's why planning, what happens is it will establish a standard of controlling. And here controlling manager will have no base to compare whether the actual output is adequate or not. So you should always set standard. See, if you don't set standard, whatever the employees will do, that is what you feel it is good. That's why you should always go with a standard setting. Next one we have is Focus attention on objectives of the company. Now, planning is always what? Goal oriented. Goal oriented. Now, planning function begins with setting up of the objectives, policies, procedure, method, and rules. Now, the types of plan, if you remember, right? Which are made in planning to achieve these objectives only when employees follow the plan, they are leading towards the achievement of objective. That means what? Planning is always what? It goes with the objectives. Now, objectives, rules, method, procedure, program, budget, all these things you are supposed to get focused into. Though planning efforts of all employees are directors towards achievements of organizational goals and objectives, you should also know that once the objective is all done, now management is always continuous. The same way planning is also continuous. After achieving the objective, planning will not rest. It will go with setting more objectives so that it can actually reach those objectives. So these are the importance of planning here, students. Please check again this session, and if you have any doubt, you can call us. We are always there. It's a very simple topic, importance of planning, which we have done. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.